A devotional for March 24, a reflection on My Utmost for His Highest by Oswald Chambers. You can find the link to the daily devotional at utmost.org. The text for today comes from John chapter 3 in the New Testament. We're going to begin at verse 27 and then read through verse 30. And the key text will be from verse 30. And this is where John the Baptist is being questioned about Jesus. Verse 27. To this John replied, "A person can receive only what is given them from heaven. You yourselves can testify that I said, I am not the Messiah, but I am sent ahead of him. The bride belongs to the bridegroom. The friend who attends the bridegroom waits and listens for him, and is full of joy when he hears the bridegroom's voice. That joy is mine, and it is now complete. He must become greater, I must become less." Said another way, he must increase, but I must decrease, decreasing for his purpose. If you become a necessity to someone else's life, you are out of God's will. As a servant, your primary responsibility is to be a friend of the bridegroom. When you see a person who is close to grasping the claims of Jesus Christ, and you know that your influence has been used in the right direction, and when you begin to see that person in the middle of a difficult and painful struggle, don't try to prevent it, but pray that their difficulty will grow even 10 times stronger until no power on earth or in hell could hold him away from Jesus Christ. Over and over again, we try to be amateur providences in someone's life. We are indeed amateurs, coming in and actually preventing God's will and saying, this person should not have to experience this difficulty. Instead of being friends of the bridegroom, our sympathy gets in the way. One day that person will say to us, "You are a thief. You stole my desire to follow Jesus, and because of you I lost sight of him." Beware of rejoicing with someone over the wrong thing, but always look to rejoice over the right thing. The friend of the bridegroom rejoices greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. Therefore, this joy of mine is fulfilled. He must increase, but I must decrease. John 3:29 and 30. This was spoken with joy, not with sadness. At last they were to see the bridegroom, and John said this was his joy. It represents a stepping aside, an absolute removal of the servant, never to be thought of again. Listen intently with your entire being until you hear the bridegroom's voice in the life of another person. And never give any thought to what devastation, difficulties, or sickness it will bring. Just rejoice with godly excitement that his voice has been heard. You may often have to watch Jesus Christ wreck a life before he saves it. See Matthew 10:34. I remember when I first read this devotional, probably a year ago, and this is a difficult one. It's one that I wish I could ask Chambers about, because I think it takes on a particular view of providence and what our role is to be. The very first line says that if you become a necessity to someone else's life, you are out of God's will. I understand what he's getting at here, and it is something where we have to be careful that our desire to help someone doesn't actually impede them from seeing the work of Jesus Christ in their life. However, where I struggle is that I also don't want us to be people who say, well, I'll pray for you, and not take any action, because the Bible clearly commands that we are to help those in need as well. So this takes discernment, this takes wisdom in order to know how to help and when to help. And it's a challenge. I've been challenged in many ways with this over the last 7 years or so, where I especially noticed that the more that I would offer encouragement to someone or share what the Bible said, I felt like I was getting these tests in life to actually put actions to my words, to make sure that I wasn't just sharing empty words. And so I've helped in ways that I never really expected to. And some people have said it was probably too much, or I wasn't taking care of other people in the way that I should have. And it's been a challenge, and it's still a learning curve of discernment. But the key verse, I think, drives it home for us. He must increase, but I must decrease. Our helping should always be to point towards Jesus and allow Jesus to be able to be fully realized in another person's life. So never that it's about us who is doing the work, but that we are bringing someone into the light or pointing them to the light of Jesus Christ.